Be me, 23-year-old mid-tier office drone, working a data entry job that slowly consumes my soul. Rent a decent-sized apartment on the third floor of a building that smells permanently of someone else's cooking. Building has 8 units, and I know absolutely nobody's name, except Mrs. Tanaka on the first floor, who gives me unsolicited life advice every Tuesday. Life is a repetitive loop of commute, spreadsheets, microwave meals, and rewatching the same 3 shows on Netflix. Not depressed exactly, more like a program running on minimum required input. One rainy Thursday evening, I'm coming home from work with 2 bags of groceries and a profound sense that my life peaked at age 14. Get to the third floor hallway and notice the door directly across from mine is open about 6 inches. Not wide open, not closed. Just open enough to be weird. That apartment has been empty for 2 months since the previous tenant moved out. Assume the landlord is showing it to a new tenant or something. Go inside, put groceries away, heat up some sad pasta, get on with my evening. Next morning, heading out to work, and the door across the hall is still open that same 6 inches. Stop and look at it for a second. Knock lightly. Nothing. Hello. Is someone in there? Silence for 3 seconds, then a very quiet voice from deep inside. Please go away. So there is someone in there. Are you okay? Do you need help? I'm fine. Please go away. Voice sounds like someone who hasn't spoken out loud in several days. Okay, sorry to bother you. Go to work, come home, door is still open 6 inches. This continues for 4 days. On day 5, I come home with groceries again and stop at the door. Hey, I bought too much food again. I'm going to leave some outside your door. You don't have to take it. No response. Leave a container of leftover rice and some apples on the floor outside. Go inside and watch TV for 2 hours. Around 11 p.m., I open my front door for absolutely no rational reason. The food is gone. Okay, so whoever this person is, they're alive and eating. This becomes a routine over the next week. I leave food, it disappears. The door stays at its permanent 6-inch opening. Start leaving better food because the challenge appeals to me. Homemade soup, curry, actual cooked chicken instead of the sad microwave stuff. On the 8th day, I leave a container of curry and a note that says, "This is getting weird, but also I don't mind." Next morning, there's a note under my door. Handwriting is small and very neat, like someone who learned calligraphy from a manual. Thank you for the food. I'm sorry for being strange. I'm not dangerous. Well, that's reassuring and slightly concerning at the same time. Write back and leave it outside her door. I didn't think you were dangerous. Are you okay though? Do you need anything? That afternoon, there's a response. I'm okay. I just don't go outside much. Correction. At all. I'm fine though. So she doesn't go outside at all. Classic NEET situation. I've seen enough anime to understand this narrative structure. Write back. How are you eating if you don't go outside? Delivery apps. And now you, apparently. Fair enough. Over the next 2 weeks, we communicate entirely through notes slid under doors. Learn the basics about her. Her name is Hana. She moved in 3 weeks ago from across town. She works remotely doing some kind of online illustration work. She has not been outside once since moving in. She owns a lot of blankets, which she mentioned in 3 separate notes. Today, I organized my blankets by weight and texture. It was productive. That's not what productive means, but I'm not going to correct her. Start looking forward to coming home just to see if there's a note. This is either friendship or a pen pal situation, or I'm developing feelings for a door gap. Probably the last one, knowing my track record. After about 3 weeks of notes, I try something different. Knock on her door instead of leaving a note. Long pause. Who is it? Your neighbor, Anon. The one who's been feeding you. Oh, hi. Hi. Do you want to talk through the door, or is that weird? Pause. It's a little weird, but okay. We talk through her door for 45 minutes. Her voice is soft and kind of flat, like she's reading off a script she's not very confident about. She asks me about my job and sounds genuinely horrified by the concept of a daily commute. You go outside every day, on purpose. I mean, I have to. Bills exist. Couldn't you find remote work? My skills are mostly making spreadsheets look less terrible. That sounds incredibly boring. It absolutely is. She's quiet for a second. I make illustrations, mostly for indie game developers. I don't have to talk to anyone, which is ideal. Do you ever miss people, though? Long pause. I miss the idea of people. The reality of people is usually disappointing. That might be the most accurate sentence I've heard in years. We talk until almost midnight. She suddenly says she has to go back to work. It was okay talking to you. Yeah, it was. Door conversation is underrated, honestly. I'll leave a note tomorrow. Sure. Or you could just talk again. Maybe. Go to bed feeling weirdly good about a conversation that happened through wood and drywall. Next 2 weeks, alternate between notes and door conversations. Learn more about her. She's 22, grew up in a small city, moved here after something happened that she doesn't specify. She's been mostly housebound for about 8 months. She likes cats, but her building doesn't allow them, so she has a stuffed animal cat she named Kotatsu. Now, she watches a terrifying amount of documentaries. Did you know octopuses have 3 hearts? I did not. I watched 7 octopus documentaries today. Were they good? Extremely. Octopuses are objectively the most interesting animal. They're basically aliens who live in the ocean. She gets extremely passionate about random topics without warning. Find this endearing in a way I don't fully understand. One day I come home to find 2 notes instead of 1. First note is normal. Watched a documentary about abandoned malls, deeply unsettling. 8 out of 10. Second note is different. I think I'd like to see what you look like. Is that weird? It's a little weird, but also fair enough. Right back. We could open both our doors at the same time and look at each other. Her response comes 30 minutes later. That seems too much like real human contact. What if we video call on Discord instead? Give her my Discord. 20 minutes later, she sends a request. Username, blanket_goblin_real. Of course it is. Accept and immediately get a video call. Answer it and see her for the first time. She's sitting in a chair, completely surrounded by blankets like a nest. Dark hair, pale, wearing a massive sweater that's clearly 3 sizes too large. She's holding Kotatsu the stuffed cat and squinting at the screen like the light is personally offensive. Oh, you look normal. Thanks, you look like you live in a blanket fort. I do live in a blanket fort. It's a feature, not a bug. She's studying me with the same intensity that I imagine she gives octopus documentaries. You have a boring apartment. I know. I never got around to decorating it. Mine is very decorated. I have 17 plants. You have 17 plants, but you don't go outside. Plants don't require me to interact with strangers. They're the ideal companion. She introduces me to each of her plants by name over the next 20 minutes. Gerald, Stephanie, the twins Marcus and Aurelius. Big Plant, whose full name is Big Plant. This girl is something else entirely. Video calls become a regular thing. We talk for hours about nothing and everything. She shows me her illustrations one night. They're incredible, incredibly detailed, and slightly melancholy looking. Characters always seem to be looking at something just out of frame. These are really good, Hana. I know, I'm very talented, said completely without arrogance, just as a factual statement. What made you start drawing? I needed to create things that couldn't disappoint me. The casual depth of that sentence hits harder than expected. Don't push it, and we move on to talking about which fast food chains would survive a zombie apocalypse. For the record, she thinks Wendy's wins based on the versatility of their fry infrastructure. Hard to argue with that. One evening, I'm coming home with takeout and run into my neighbor from down the hall. Marcus, late 30s, works in finance, the kind of guy who wears a blazer to check his mail. Hey man, you've been coming home with 2 portions of food every night. You got a girlfriend or something? Open mouth to say no, then realize I actually have been buying 2 portions of everything for 3 weeks. Because Hana and I eat dinner together over video call every night. It's complicated. She's shy or something. Something like that, yeah. Go inside, knock on Hana's door. Hey, do you want to have dinner? I got Thai food. Yes, call me when you're ready. Set up the laptop on the kitchen table and we eat dinner together. She's eating from a container of instant ramen, which she's dressed up with various toppings. You should let me actually cook for you sometime. You can't cook for me. You'd have to bring it to my door. I've been doing that for weeks. True. What did you get? Pad Thai, green curry, mango sticky rice. I want the sticky rice. You're not even eating the same food. I want to have it for dessert. Can you leave it outside? Walk to the door and leave the mango sticky rice outside. Sit back down and watch her open her door to grab it. First time I've actually seen her in person and not through a screen. She's smaller than I imagined. She grabs the container, makes eye contact with me through both our open doors, and waves very slightly, then retreats back inside immediately like a woodland creature spooked by a noise. Was that okay? Back on the screen, she's tucking herself back into her blanket nest. It was fine. You're taller in real life. Most people are, I think. Probably. The sticky rice is good. That evening, she mentioned something offhand that sticks with me. My old friends don't message anymore. It's been like 6 months. I think I scared them off. How? By being like this, I guess. It takes effort to maintain a friendship with someone who can't just go do normal things. I don't find it that much effort. She's quiet for a second. You're different. Most people want friends they can go places with. I mean, we eat dinner together every night, and I look forward to it more than anything else in my day. Another pause. Me too. Conversation moves on, but something about that exchange stays with me. Start thinking about the fact that I've developed what is clearly a friendship with this person, and it feels more real than most of my face-to-face friendships. Week later, I mentioned this to my coworker Jake, who is the kind of guy who thinks he's extremely wise about relationships. So this girl you've been talking to, when are you going to ask her out? She barely opens her door. She's not going to go on a date. You don't have to go anywhere. You live across the hall. That's not really how dating works. You eat dinner together every night. You leave food for her. You talk until 2 a.m. What exactly do you think that is? Have no response to that. Go home that night and think about it. We do talk until 2 a.m. pretty regularly. I do bring her food every other day. I do spend more time on calls with her than on anything else. Call her that evening and she immediately starts talking about a documentary she watched. Did you know there are trees in Sweden that are over 9,000 years old? I did not. 9,000 years. They were alive before writing was invented, before most of civilization, and they're just standing there. That's kind of incredible. I find it very comforting, like nothing I do is really that significant in the timeline of that tree. Is that comforting or depressing? Both. Mostly comforting. Anyway, how was your day? Tell her about the meeting from hell that lasted 3 hours. She listens and reacts with appropriate horror. Why do people do meetings? Email exists. Corporate tradition, I think. Sounds like torture. It was. You should find a remote job. We've been over this. I'm just saying. She's always telling me to find a remote job like she's trying to recruit me into her lifestyle. Not sure how I feel about that. That night before hanging up, she says something that catches me off guard. Hey, my client just asked if I'd be interested in doing a series of illustrations for a book. It's a bigger project than I've done before. That's great. Will you take it? I want to. I'm just nervous. What if I mess it up? You won't. Your work is genuinely excellent. How would you know? I've shown you like 12 pieces. And all 12 of them were excellent. Pause. You always say nice things. I say accurate things. Whatever. I'm going to take it. If it goes badly, I'm blaming you. Fair. Okay, good night, Anon. Good night, Hana. Hang up and sit in the quiet of the apartment for a second. Realize I'm smiling. Realize I've been smiling a lot lately when coming home. Specifically anticipating talking to a person who considers leaving her apartment an extreme sport. This is fine. Definitely fine. 2 days later, I get a text from a number I don't recognize. Hi, it's Hana. I got your number from your Discord profile. I hope that's okay. I wanted to text instead of leaving a note because it's faster. Save her contact immediately. Text back. It's okay. Also, welcome to the 21st century. I've been in the 21st century. I just prefer selected parts of it. We text all day. She sends me a photo of Gerald the plant, who has a new leaf coming in. She sends me a screenshot of an octopus fact she found. She sends a photo of kotatsu in various positions around the apartment. This is the most active my phone has been in months. Come home that evening and there's a note under my door, even though we've been texting. Old habits, I guess. Note says, I made too much soup. Do you want some? It's tomato. Knock on her door. Hi. Hi. She opens the door slightly more than usual, maybe 12 inches now. Can see her properly through the gap. She's holding a container of soup and looking at the floor. Here, I added good bread. Thank you, it smells amazing. I know, I'm also very talented at soup. You're talented at a lot of things, apparently. Small smile. Yeah. Do you want to eat together? Same as usual. Yeah. She closes the door, I set up the laptop. We eat soup and bread, and she makes me listen to an audio documentary about deep-sea creatures. She provides running commentary the entire time. Go to bed that night full of soup and warmth and a creeping suspicion that I am in significantly deeper than a neighbor relationship at this point. That feeling when your neat neighbor starts feeling like the best part of your day. That feeling when you realize you've been feeding someone for 6 weeks and don't want to stop. Next morning, I wake up to 3 texts from Hana sent between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. First one is a photo of Kotatsu sitting on her keyboard. He's helping me work. He's been very collaborative tonight. Second one is a link to a Wikipedia article about tardigrades. These things can survive in space. Space. What are we even doing? Third one is just, are you awake? Sent at 4:17 a.m. Text back, even though it's now 7 a.m. and she's almost certainly asleep. Was asleep. Are you okay? She responds immediately, which means she didn't sleep at all. I finished the first illustrations for the book project. I wanted to tell someone. That's huge. How are they? Genuinely the best work I've ever made. I'm very pleased with myself. You should be. Can I see? She sends 4 images. They're breathtaking. Dark watercolor style, these detailed scenes of a city at night from the perspective of someone looking down from a window, which is extremely on brand for her. Hana, these are incredible. I know. Go get ready for work. I'm going to sleep for 12 hours. Congratulations, seriously. No response because she's already asleep. Spend the commute thinking about those illustrations. The way she drew windows with light inside them, suggesting life and warmth from the outside looking in. It's very obviously autobiographical, and somehow that makes it more beautiful rather than sad. Mention this to her that evening. The window imagery, in the illustrations, it felt personal. Longer pause than usual. It is, I guess. I spend a lot of time watching through windows. Do you miss being outside? Sometimes. I miss the idea of it more than the actual experience. When I actually go outside, my brain basically has a system crash. What happens? Everything is too loud and too bright, and there are too many people moving unpredictably, and my brain just decides it's done and I need to leave immediately. Has it always been like that? It got worse about a year ago. Something happened, and then my radius just kept getting smaller. She doesn't elaborate, and I don't push. Well, for what it's worth, from inside your apartment, you're doing more interesting things than most people doing outside stuff. That's a nice way to frame it. It's accurate. She makes a small sound that might be a laugh. Okay, good night. I have to sleep before I start making bad decisions. What kind of bad decisions? Like texting you at 4 a.m. to talk about tardigrades. That was genuinely a good decision. Good night, Anon. Weekend arrives, and I have no plans, because my social life has been quietly colonized by a person who lives 3 meters away and never leaves. Text Hana on Saturday morning. Do you want to do something today? Like what? I'm inside. We could watch a movie at the same time. Same movie, video call, we react together. Pause. What movie? You pick. 20-minute pause while she apparently deliberates. Princess Mononoke, non-negotiable. Never seen it. She responds so fast she must have been typing before I even finished reading. What? Capitals. She never uses capitals. How have you never seen Princess Mononoke? How are you a functioning member of society? I just never got around to it. We are fixing this immediately. Get food, get blankets. This is a serious film, and it requires proper conditions. Something about her issuing commands about movie watching conditions is extremely amusing. Order delivery and settle in on my couch with my laptop while she sets up on her end. Video call starts, and she's built what can only be described as an advanced blanket structure. Kotatsu is positioned on top like a trophy. Are you ready? Should I be nervous? Yes, it's going to make you feel things. We watch it together. She narrates parts quietly, not spoilers, just context. This character here, she's not evil. That's the whole point. Nobody is evil. When the ending happens, I sit in silence for a moment. Hana. I know. Why did you do this to me? Because it's important. She's smiling on the screen. Proper wide smile, not the small careful ones she usually allows. Good, right? Incredible. I'm slightly emotionally devastated. That means it worked. We spend 2 hours after the movie dissecting it. She has opinions about every single scene. Deeply considered, passionately held opinions. Watching her talk about something she loves is like watching someone become a completely different person. The flat, careful voice gives way to something animated and alive. The relationship between humans and nature isn't framed as humans' bad nature good. It's just tragic. Because both sides are trying to survive, and neither is wrong, and they can't coexist. Do you think that's how you see people? Both sides trying to survive. She pauses. Sometimes, when I'm being charitable. And when you're not being charitable, then people are just chaotic, unpredictable variables that give me headaches. That's fair, honestly. We move on to other films she considers essential viewing. She creates an actual document titled Films Anon Must See Before He Can Be Considered Culturally Literate. Sends it to me via Discord. There are 43 films on it. 43. This is going to take months. We have time. The word lands somewhere specific. Spend the next several weeks working through her film list systematically. Every weekend becomes movie day. She's an extremely opinionated viewer who pauses at crucial moments to explain why a specific shot choice is significant. She also provides real-time critical commentary that's funnier than any podcast. He just made the single dumbest decision in the history of cinema. He's in a horror movie. It's required. No, this is beyond genre obligation. This is personal stupidity. We're watching together so seamlessly at this point that it barely feels like we're in separate apartments. Except for the moments where one of us wants to pass the other a snack and can't, which happens more than I expected. I wish you could try this. My popcorn is exceptional. What makes it exceptional? I put furikake on it. It's life-changing. That sounds either amazing or terrible. It's amazing. You'd know if you could try it. She says this so casually, like she almost wishes I was there. The idea of her wishing I was there does something to my chest that I decide not to examine too carefully. My coworker Jake finds out about the movie situation. So you're doing movie dates every weekend with the neighbor who doesn't leave? It's not dates, it's movies. Over video call, every weekend. With a girl you also eat dinner with every night. We're friends. Man, you are so far gone, it's actually impressive. Ignore this because Jake is a menace who finds romantic subtext in everything. Except I think about it on the train home. And then again when I knock on her door. Hey, I got your furikake popcorn stuff. Her door opens slightly and she peers through the gap. You bought furikake. You talked about it for 4 days. I talked about it for 1 day. You sent me 3 separate furikake-related voice messages. She blinks. That's not 3 days, that's just 1 day spread across several formats. Here, pass it through the door gap. She holds the package and stares at it. You didn't have to do this. I know. Small pause. Thank you. Make the popcorn. Tell me if I did it right. 30 minutes later, she video calls and holds up the popcorn toward the camera. It's perfect. You bought the right kind. I spent 20 minutes in the international foods aisle reading labels. That's very thorough. I wanted to make sure it was the right thing. She's looking at me with an expression that's hard to read, something careful and quiet about it. You pay a lot of attention. To furikake labels specifically, yes. To things I say. Oh. Well, you say interesting things. She looks away. Eat your popcorn. Tonight we're watching Spirited Away. Go back to my couch smiling again. 2 months into this situation, and I'm genuinely the happiest I've been in years. Which is strange because objectively, nothing has changed in my external life. Same job, same apartment, same commute. But I come home now and there's a light on across the hall and someone on the other side of a door who saved a plant. Specifically because I mentioned liking the color green. Gerald has a green pot. Hana told me this 3 weeks ago. I repotted Gerald. He has a new green pot. Green is a good color. How did you know I like green? You mentioned it once. I remember things. She just remembered and then repotted a plant. I don't know what to do with that information, so I just hold on to it. One evening she's quiet in a way that's different from her usual comfortable silences. You okay? I had a bad brain day. What does that mean? It means my thoughts were very loud and not very kind, and I spent most of the day unable to do anything useful. I'm sorry. Do you want to talk about it or not? Not really. Can we just watch something? Of course. You pick. She puts on a nature documentary. We don't talk much, just watch together. Around midnight, she says quietly, "This helped, just having someone there. Good. I don't usually have that, someone to just be there, staring at the screen. You have it now." Long, quiet pause. Yeah, I do. Go to bed that night and lie awake for a while, thinking about the way she said that, thinking about the way I said it back without hesitating, thinking about how a 6-inch gap in a door has somehow become the most significant relationship in my adult life. Definitely fine. 100% fine. Absolutely nothing complicated happening here at all. Be me, still in the same apartment, still in love with a girl who considers the hallway an adventure. Wake up the morning after realizing I might be in love with my neighbor to find 3 texts sent at 3 a.m. First, I've been thinking and I believe furikake popcorn is objectively the peak of human culinary achievement. Second, also I finished the last illustration for the book. It turned out well. Third, do you think people who live across the hall from each other count as neighbors or something else? That third one, she sent it at 3:47 a.m. and there's no follow-up. Text back. Good morning. Congrats on the illustration. And what would the something else be? She doesn't reply until 11 a.m. I don't know. I was tired. Ignore that. Already thought about it for 4 hours, so no. 3 dots appear and disappear twice. Go to work, Anon. Already at work. Then work. She sends a photo of Gerald an hour later. New leaf. Classic Hana subject change. Come home that evening and there's no note under the door. Instead, she knocks about 20 minutes after I get in. Open the door. She's holding a sketchbook and has ink on her left hand like she's been drawing all day. Can I come in? Always. She settles on the couch and opens the sketchbook to a fresh page and starts drawing immediately. Not showing me what, just drawing. I make tea and bring her a cup without asking. She takes it automatically without looking up. We sit in the late afternoon quiet for about an hour. Finally, she holds up the sketchbook. It's Gerald. Except it's not just Gerald. It's Gerald on a windowsill, and outside the window, there are 2 buildings close together with warm light in both windows. Like the buildings are keeping each other company. You drew our buildings. I drew a plant. The architecture is incidental. It's not incidental. Stop analyzing my art. It's very analyzable. She lowers the sketchbook with a look that could mean several things. I'm going to keep the drawing. Obviously, it's mine. I'm adding it to the collection. What collection? Oh, she looks at me steadily. You're keeping my drawings. I told you things worth capturing deserve to be captured. She stares at the ceiling for a second. You're very inconvenient, Anon. You've said that. It bears repeating. She stays until almost midnight, and we watch a documentary about migratory birds that she finds emotionally devastating. They travel thousands of miles every year. By instinct. They just know where to go. Do you think that's what instinct is? Knowing where to go. I think some people have it, and some people have to figure it out very slowly through a series of confusing experiences. Which type are you? She looks at me sideways, slowly figuring it out. Migratory Birds documentary ends up being the most romantic thing I've ever watched, apparently. Days leading up to the gallery, she becomes increasingly anxious in ways that manifest as very long voice messages. Sends me a 2-minute voice message about the logistics of the gallery. The event starts at 7. Venue is in the Arts District, which is 4 metro stops. The crowd is supposed to be small because it's an emerging artist showcase. I've been to the website 14 times. The website shows the entrance, and there are 3 steps, which is manageable. Send back a voice message. 3 steps is very manageable. You walk up 3 steps every time you go to the laundry room. Those are familiar steps. You'll be with me. I'll be right there. Long pause in the voice memo. Okay, also, what do I wear? You have clothes, right? Obviously, I have clothes. I have specific clothes for being outside, but I haven't worn them in a while. Anything you feel comfortable in, that's the only criteria. What are you wearing? Whatever's clean. That's not helpful. Clean clothes that fit. I'll look normal. I want to also look normal. Hana, you always look fine. You've seen me approximately 12 times in person. Every single time you looked fine. Fine or good? Good. You looked good. 3 dots. Okay, good night. Day of the gallery. She texts at 7 a.m. I'm nervous. That's normal. It doesn't feel normal. It feels like my brain is running 17 tabs, and someone opened the task manager, and now everything is visible. Close a few tabs. I can't. They're all open. Close the ones about catastrophic outcomes. Those are load-bearing tabs. She's somehow both the funniest and most anxious person I know simultaneously. Agree to meet in the hallway at 6:30. Get ready earlier than I need to and sit waiting. At exactly 6:30, her door opens. She's wearing dark jeans, a soft navy sweater, and she's done something different with her hair. She's holding kotatsu. I know you can't take the cat. I know, I was just holding him for confidence. She sets kotatsu inside and closes her door. Her hands are doing a thing where they keep finding each other and separating. You look great. I know I do. I'm still terrified. That's allowed. We take the lift down together and walk to the metro. She's close to my side, not quite touching. On the train, she stares straight ahead with the controlled calm of someone performing normalcy very deliberately. Halfway there, she exhales slowly. Okay. Okay. I'm okay. It's just people. They're just people. Exactly. They're chaotic, unpredictable variables, but they're usually not dangerous ones. Usually. Statistically. Small smile. Gallery is a warmly lit space, exposed brick. That's maybe 40 people. As soon as we're through the door, someone spots her, and she immediately becomes a slightly different version of herself. Taller somehow. more certain. The professional version of Hana steps in, and it's fascinating to watch. She answers questions about her work with complete confidence, explains the imagery thoughtfully. A woman in her 40s keeps asking about the two figures illustration specifically. It has such a sense of intimate distance, the warmth of two people in their separate spaces but clearly connected. Where did that come from? Hana glances at me briefly. Someone I know, the way we spend time together. The woman nods like this is very significant. I'm standing off to the side trying to look like a normal human who isn't internally combusting. After about an hour, she finds me near the back. Then she looks flushed and slightly overwhelmed but intact. How are you doing? Moderately well. I need 5 minutes of quiet after this. We can leave whenever. Not yet. I want to see it properly. She turns to look at her own work hung on the wall. 3 pieces lit carefully, framed, people standing in front of them. Her face does something complicated and quiet. It's strange, seeing things I made out in the world. How does it feel? Like sending something small out and watching it land somewhere unexpected. Pause. Good strange. Stand next to her and look at the illustrations. The 2 figures, one is in the center. You know what's funny? What? When I painted that, I wasn't sure what it meant exactly. I just made it. What do you think it means now? She's quiet for a moment. That connection doesn't require proximity. That you can be completely in your own world and still have someone with you. Look at her. I think that's exactly right. She looks up at me, and there's something very direct in her expression. I've been thinking about what I said the other night, about not knowing how to want things. Okay. I think that was partly true and partly a habit. The habit of preemptively deciding things aren't available. And now I've been looking at this painting for 2 minutes, and it's clearly about us. And I drew it 6 weeks ago, which means I knew before I admitted I knew. Art is honest even when we're not. That's very perceptive. I read it in a review of your work, actually. She laughs, real laugh, in a public gallery, in front of 40 people. She covers her mouth, but it's already out. You read my reviews. I found them. There were 3. What did they say? That your work has remarkable emotional precision and a quiet ache that builds with each piece. She's looking at me with an expression I've learned to recognize over these months. The one that means she's feeling something she hasn't processed yet. Anon. Yeah. When we get home, can we sit on your couch and watch something and not talk about any of this for a while? Of course. And then, after, can we talk about it properly? Yeah. We stay another half hour, she signs some prints for people, and then we leave. On the metro home, she's quiet, but different from the anxious quiet of earlier. Settled. Like something has been decided. Back in the building, up the lift, 3rd floor hallway. She opens her door and gets Kotatsu immediately and holds him under her arm. Then she walks across the hall and into my apartment like she owns the place, which at this point, honestly, she might. Puts Kotatsu on the couch, turns the lamp on, sits in her corner. I put something on the TV, nature documentary, the octopus one she likes. We watch for a while in comfortable quiet. Halfway through, she says very casually, "So, this, you and me, the dinner calls and the movies and the furikake and you knowing all my plants by name. Yeah. And me drawing you and painting our windows and telling you things I don't tell people. Yeah. And me wanting to be here more than anywhere else, including my own apartment. Yeah." She looks at the TV for a second. I'd like to call that something. What would you like to call it? She finally looks at me directly. Something good. Something that I didn't preemptively decide wasn't available. I'd like that too. She nods like this confirms a hypothesis. Then she leans over very slightly and rests her head on my shoulder, like it's the most natural thing in the world, which by now, it kind of is. Kotatsu walks over and settles on both our laps simultaneously like he's been waiting for this resolution. We watch the rest of the documentary. She falls asleep about 40 minutes in, still on my shoulder. Don't move. 3rd month of knowing Hana, and we've developed a routine so specific it has its own internal logic. Tuesday and Thursday are dinner nights where we cook separately and eat over video call. Weekends are movie nights, unless she's on a work deadline, in which case I sit quietly in my apartment while she works, and we don't talk, but we keep the call open. This was her suggestion. Sometimes I just like knowing someone is there. You don't have to talk or do anything. You want me to be present but silent. Exactly, like a very reassuring background noise. That's the nicest thing anyone's called me. Don't get emotional about it. Having a girl describe you as reassuring background noise and finding it genuinely romantic is a specific kind of unwell that I've clearly reached. Jake at work has stopped asking questions and started just sighing whenever I mention her. You're going to have to actually do something eventually, you know. We're fine how things are. You call each other every day. Friends do that. You've memorized the names of her 17 plants. They have distinct personalities. The one called Big Plant has a distinct personality. Big Plant is very dramatic. She had a whole thing about his soil moisture levels last week. Jake stares at me with deep professional concern. You need to tell her how you feel. She barely opens her door. So how does that work? I don't know. Figure it out. Jake is supremely unhelpful. Go home that evening and Hana texts before I even get the key in the door. Gerald grew another leaf. That's 3 new leaves this month. He's thriving. Gerald specifically, or plants in general. Gerald specifically. Stephanie is being dramatic and refusing to grow. What's wrong with Stephanie? Unknown. Possibly the pot size. Possibly she just has a negative attitude. Have you tried talking to her? Obviously, she's not responding. I'm considering repotting her as an intervention. I'm having a serious discussion about the emotional state of a houseplant. It's a completely normal part of my evening. We eat dinner later, and she's in a good mood because the book client approved her latest batch. They said it's quote-unquote transcendent, which is an accurate assessment. Modest. Why be modest when you're correct? She's showing me the approved illustrations over the call. There's a new one that's different from the others. It's a lit window from outside in the rain, and inside you can see 2 figures at different ends of the room, one at a desk and one on a couch, each lit by their own screen. They're not looking at each other, but they're clearly in the same space, clearly comfortable. This one. What about it? It's different. There are 2 people in this one. She's quiet for a second. The brief asked for scenes suggesting warmth and connection. I like it. I know. She says it quietly, not smugly like when she talks about her soup skills. Something more careful. Don't push it, and we move on to debating which of her plants would survive a fictional apocalypse. Big Plant wins, unanimously. Week later, something happens that shifts things considerably. Saturday morning, I'm making coffee, and I hear knocking. From her door. She never knocks, notes, or texts, or calls. Open my door. She's standing in the hallway. Fully standing in the hallway outside her apartment. First time I've seen her in actual person, not through a door gap or a screen. She's wearing the massive sweater, holding kotatsu under one arm, and looking like someone who is committed to a very difficult act of bravery. Her face is doing something complicated. Hi. I wanted to see what your apartment looks like, if that's okay. Of course, come in. She steps inside and immediately assesses everything. Her eyes move systematically around the room, lands on the total lack of decoration. It really is boring in here. I told you, you need plants. I have you sending me plant updates. That counts. Small smile. She sits down on the couch with kotatsu in her lap and looks around more. It smells different from mine. Good different or bad different? Just different. Mine smells like plants and ink and that specific blanket smell. What does mine smell like? Coffee and, I don't know, safe. She says this totally casually and then immediately starts examining the bookshelf like she didn't just say that. You have good taste in books. Mostly. This one is terrible. She pulls out a thriller I bought at an airport. The author doesn't understand how DNA evidence works. It's distracting. I bought it to have something to read on a plane. The plane deserved better. She's been in my apartment for maybe 8 minutes and is already critiquing my library. Somehow this is the most comfortable I've felt in months. We spend most of Saturday together in my apartment. She curls up on the couch with her sketchbook and I read while she draws. Comfortable quiet. She draws for 2 hours and then holds up the sketchbook to show me. It's my apartment. Soft pencil sketch, capturing the specific afternoon light through the window. There's a figure on the couch that I realize is me. I'm sketched facing slightly away, reading, and in the light hits the back of my shoulders in a way that looks warm. You drew me. I draw things that seem worth capturing. Don't know what to say to that, so I just look at it for a while. Can I have this? No, it's mine. Fair. She closes the sketchbook with a small, satisfied expression. Around 7 p.m., she starts getting restless in a way I recognize as her reaching her limit. I should go back. Okay. This was better than expected. High praise from you. Very. Good night, Anon. She stands at the door for a second, kotatsu under her arm, looking at the floor. I'm glad I knocked. Me too. She goes back across the hall and closes her door. Sit in my apartment for a while afterwards. It smells like ink now, just slightly. That's fine. That's great, actually. Jake nearly falls out of his chair when I tell him Monday. She came to your apartment. Voluntarily. The girl who doesn't leave her apartment came to your apartment. She said it smelled safe. Jake covers his face with both hands. Anon. That girl is in love with you. She's just comfortable with me. Those aren't mutually exclusive. In fact, they're usually the same thing. Jake. She drew you. She drew you reading on your couch because it was, quote, worth capturing. She doesn't draw everything. She draws things that seem worth capturing. That's what she said. Stare at my computer screen. Oh. Oh, he says, oh. Sit with that for the rest of the workday. Come home and there's a note under my door, even though we have texting now. She uses notes when she wants to say something that feels too heavy for a screen. Learn this about her. In note says, I had a good time yesterday. I don't usually have good times in other people's spaces. I think it's because it's your space specifically. Anyway, Gerald says hi. Sit on the floor for a moment. Write back on actual paper. I had the best Saturday I've had in a long time. You can come back whenever you want. My apartment is your apartment. Gerald sounds like he needs better representation. Anon. Slide it under her door. Hear her laugh through the wall. Actual audible laugh that makes it through the drywall. Best sound I've heard all year. She comes back the following Saturday and the one after that. Brings her sketchbook. Takes over the left side of the couch. Argues with my bookshelf. Brings furikake popcorn ingredients one Saturday and makes the popcorn in my kitchen like she owns the place. And she provides real-time commentary on the popcorn process. The key is even distribution. Most people just shake the bag, but that leads to clustering. You have to toss it properly. You're very serious about popcorn. I'm serious about everything I care about. She says this while focused entirely on the popcorn and doesn't seem to notice it lands like a confession. I notice. One Saturday she's been quieter than usual, sketching more seriously, not showing me things, replying to texts from someone on her phone. Don't want to pry, but eventually ask. Everything okay? My mom called. Is that bad? It's complicated. She wants me to come home for a visit. She worries about me. Do you want to go? Long pause. Going home means an hour train journey. Populated train station, taxi, my mom's house which has my mom's energy. That sounds like a lot. It's a lot, but she's my mom and she's worried and she's not wrong to be. She puts down the sketchbook and pulls her knees to her chest. I used to be more okay. You know, I could do normal things. Then something happened and my radius collapsed and it just never really expanded back. What happened, if you want to tell me? She looks at the window. Bad relationship. He wasn't kind. And I think, when someone isn't kind to you for long enough, you start agreeing with all the unkind things they said. And then even after they're gone, you're still carrying all of it. Quiet. I'm sorry. It was a while ago. I'm better. Mostly. I just needed a smaller world for a while. She says this carefully like she's testing the weight of each word. You've been making it bigger though. And you knocked on my door. You come over on Saturdays. You make it easier. How? She looks at me directly for the first time in this conversation. You don't push. You don't treat me like a project. You just show up and leave food and watch movies and that's it. No expectations, no frustration. You just stay. Of course I stay. Not everyone does. Well, I do. She holds eye contact for another second, then looks away. I know. That's the thing. Rest of the afternoon passes quietly but differently. Something has shifted that I can't fully name. The comfortable silence has a new weight to it. She leaves later and texts from across the hall. I'm going to call my mom back. I might try to visit next month. That's big. Yeah, I figured if I can knock on a door, I can probably survive a train. For the record, the train will be lucky to have you. 3 dots. 3 dots for a long time. Okay, don't say things like that. Why? Because then I have to figure out what to do with it, and I'm not good at that. What does that mean? Longer pause. It means good night, Anon. The following week is normal on the surface. Dinners and movies and plant updates and notes. But something is different underneath. She laughs more easily. Holds eye contact a second longer. One Tuesday she texts me while I'm still at work. My client wants to feature 3 of my pieces in a gallery showing in the city. In a gallery. On a wall. With humans looking at them. Text back immediately. Hana, that's incredible. I know, I'm going to have a small crisis about it now. A proud crisis? Or a scared crisis. A proud, scared crisis. Simultaneously. I need a minute. She sends me a photo of the 3 pieces the client selected. One of them is the 2 figures at different screens illustration. Our illustration. Text her. The window one. I know. How do you feel about that? Typing dots appear and disappear 3 times. Fine. Good. It's the best of the 3 anyway. It is. Stop that. Stop what? Being like that. I don't know what that means. She doesn't respond for 6 minutes, and then sends a photo of Kotatsu sitting on her sketchbook looking judgmental. He says you're being difficult. Kotatsu has good instincts. Gallery opening is in 3 weeks. She mentions it twice more, and both times gets quieter after. One evening she brings it up directly. The gallery thing. Yeah. I have to go to it. It's my work. They expect the artist. Okay. I haven't been to an actual event in about 14 months. That's a big step. She's quiet. Would you come with me? The question is small and careful, like it costs something to ask. Of course I'll come with you. You don't have to. I want to. Obviously I want to. 3 dots. Okay. Good. Because I think I'd need someone there who knows the way things are. I know the way things are. Yeah. We go quiet for a moment. Anon. Yeah. I've been thinking about something. What? About what this is. What we are. Heart rate doing something irregular. What do you think we are? Long pause. My roommate, Melissa. She asked about my neighbor once. I told her about you. She said it sounded like I was describing someone I was dating. What did you say? I said we weren't. Dating. Okay. But then she asked if I wanted to be. Silence. What did you say? Another long pause. I said I didn't know how to want things I'm not sure I can actually have. Something about that sentence breaks my heart a little. Why wouldn't you be able to have it? Because I'm like this. I live in an apartment I never leave. I have 17 plants and a stuffed cat, and I can't go on normal dates or do normal things. Hana, yes. I eat dinner with you every single night. I watch movies with you every weekend. I bought furikake because you mentioned it 3 times. I know the names and individual personalities of all 17 of your plants. I drew you a thank you note by hand when you left soup. I know. What exactly about that sounds like someone who needs you to be different? Very long silence. When you list it like that. Yeah. Anon. Yeah. I think I've been telling myself we were just friends because it was safer than the alternative. The alternative being that I really like you and I don't know what to do about it, and it's terrifying. Sitting on my couch staring at the screen. She's on hers across the hall, holding Kotatsu, not quite looking at the camera. I really like you too. She closes her eyes for a second. This is very inconvenient. Is it? Yes, because now I have feelings and feelings are difficult. I'll help. She opens her eyes. You already do. That's the problem. That's not a problem. Anon. Yeah. I'm going to hang up now because my emotional processing has hit a wall. Okay. But I'll text you. Okay. And I'll see you Saturday. I'll be here. She hesitates. And, after the gallery, maybe we could define things properly. I'd like that. Okay, good night. Good night, Hana. Call ends. Sit in silence for a moment. Then my phone buzzes. For the record, you also smell like safe. Good night. My face when the girl who won't go outside comes to your apartment because it feels safe. My face when notes under the door turn into the best relationship I've ever been in. That feeling when your neat neighbor was never just a neighbor. That feeling when you realize the 6-inch gap in a door was enough space for something real to grow through.
Left some food outside your door again. 6 inches open, nevermore. You said go away, I said okay, but I came back like the day before. Notes on paper, words through walls. You named a cat for lines of code. Your plants have names, your world is small, but somehow mine just grew to hold. You said you don't know how to want what you're not sure that you can have, but I've been here the whole time, haven't I? Doesn't smells like ink and quiet things. Mine smells safe, you said so once. We eat dinner through a laptop screen, two windows lit when day is done. What do you call a thing like this when close is 6 inches of door? I think we both know what it is. We've known it for a while now, maybe more. You drew our buildings keeping warm, two lights on in the winter gray. I kept the sketches, everyone, they're worth capturing, that's what you say. You said the world outside your walls has too much noise, too many ways to break. But this little hallway between us might be all the outside that we need. Your apartment smells like ink and quiet things. Mine smells safe, that's what you said. We built a world through walls and waited, found each other in the space instead. What do you call a thing like this when connection doesn't need a door? I think you've already named it. On those walls you painted to the core. 6 inches was enough. 6 inches was enough.